everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Going Green, the benefits of an energy-efficient commercial kitchen. My name is Mackenzie Richards, SEO Content Specialist on the digital marketing team at Partstown. Joining me today are two very special guests from Energy Star, Tanya Sirk, Product Manager for Commercial Food Service Equipment, and Jerry Lawson, National Manager for Small Businesses and Congregations. In today's webinar, our speakers will cover details about the Energy Star program, Energy Star for small businesses and commercial buildings, the specification and certification process for commercial kitchen equipment, and Energy Star's search tools and other resources. Before we begin, please ensure that your lines are muted, but should you have any questions and we have time at the end, please feel free to post them in the chat. We will address any questions you have during our Q&A portion at the end, or we will direct you to contact our speakers. Without further ado, I will now hand it off to Tanya Sirk to kick things off.
Thank you, Mackenzie, for the introduction and for Partstown for having us. Let's dive in. What is the Energy Star program? The Energy Star program represents an influential and trusted symbol of energy efficiency that's used to identify top-performing, cost-effective products, homes, and buildings. Energy Star is the simple choice for energy efficiency. The goal of the Energy Star program is to help consumers, businesses, and industry save money and protect the environment through the adoption of energy-efficient products and practices. Since 1992, it has been a voluntary partnership among government, businesses, and consumers, and its success relies on coordination from all of its stakeholders, from input on designing energy efficiency product specifications to working with utilities on incentives and rebates for those products. The program is jointly implemented through the US EPA and DOE, but resides physically at the EPA. The program saves end users money, water, and energy without sacrificing features or functionality, and helps protect the climate. For nearly 30 years, EPA's Energy Star program has identified the most energy-efficient products, buildings, plants, and new homes, all based on the latest government-backed standards. To date, Energy Star has helped Americans save more than $450 billion, save 4 trillion kilowatt hours of electricity, and avoid 3 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. So how do you join Energy Star? Partnership with Energy Star is a good opportunity for your organization to publicly commit to the environmental and financial benefits of energy management. However, Energy Star partnership is not required to obtain benefits from the program. To join Energy Star as a partner, the process varies slightly by partnership type, but in all cases, a prospective partner must sign a partnership agreement, which is processed relatively quickly, approximately 1 to 2 weeks. For detailed information on prerequisites, the agreements and objectives, terms and conditions or commitments, please visit the Partner Resources page linked to you in this slide. These are some of the different Energy Star marks that serve slightly different purposes. The Energy Star certification mark signifies that a product, home, or building is Energy Star certified. For example, this mark should be used to select the Energy Star equipment during planning and build-out of commercial kitchens. The promotional mark is used in educational and promotional materials to inform others about the benefits of the Energy Star program. The partner mark is used to promote an organization's commitment to and partnership in the Energy Star program. The linkage phrase mark is used on materials designed to provide consumers with general information about Energy Star certified products and homes, rather than to identify a particular product, home, or building as Energy Star certified. The Energy Star brand book goes into more detail about the logos and labeling. Partnership with the Energy Star program comes with multiple benefits, including the ability to leverage the Energy Star label, access to customer support teams at EPA who could provide customized training on selling Energy Star equipment, and webinars similar to this one for your organization. As a partner, you can apply for the prestigious Energy Star Partner of the Year Award, utilize co-brandable materials, and participate in annual promotional opportunities such as Energy Star Day and Earth Day. Partners also have access to a network of over 700 utilities and get listed on publicly available Energy Star search tools such as Product Finder or the Dealer and Distributor Locator, which I will cover later in the presentation. Partnership also means you will receive regular communication from the Energy Star program about the product specification process, such as specification updates and opportunities for comment, new initiatives, and various annual partner meetings. As an example, I'll also put in a plug here for the National Restaurant Association Show, which will be held next year from May 16th until the 19th in Chicago, and where the Energy Star Commercial Food Service team will host the 3rd annual stakeholder workshop. The last couple of years, we focused on utility midstream incentive programs, and a midstream guide is currently in development. At next year's workshop, we aim to introduce new initiatives and feature Energy Star partners from across the food service industry. We are currently conducting outreach to potential speakers, so if you're interested in a speaking role, please contact me. Now I would like to hand off the presentation to Jerry for details about helping commercial buildings and small businesses navigate the Energy Star resources.
We'll be emphasizing commercial food service equipment in a few moments, but commercial food service equipment is typically operated within a building. This is why there is a separate part of Energy Star that focuses on buildings and plants, which generate about 45% of all U.S. Carbon emissions. But these buildings and plants use a lot of energy that they don't have to. For example, the average building wastes 30% of the energy that it consumes and that its occupants pay for because of built-in inefficiencies. But working with thousands of Energy Star partners over the past 20 years, we've learned that reductions of 10% or more in energy use can be possible at no cost or at low cost. And for small businesses, we provide information on no-cost, low-cost actions that we call Sure Savers. Here's the real takeaway today. Taking no action is the same as an action. Making no decision is really a decision to continue wasting. So I'm not going to go through all of this detail. You'll have the slides, but it's important to make a commitment to taking action to save money. To think about the down payment for that new equipment you need as being the wasted money in your utility bill every month. Many of you are involved with the types of buildings represented on this slide, and if you can't quite make them out, on the far left with the highest energy use per square foot is the quick service restaurant. Next comes the convenience store. Then the supermarket or grocery store. Fourthly, the full-service restaurant. Then finally, hotels and motels, which often have commercial kitchens as well. We offer a free download. It's the Action Workbook for Small Business. In it, there are separate sections for different types of businesses like convenience stores, grocery stores, restaurants. And we outline things that, again, over the years, we have learned from our partners that it's important to make a commitment and, first of all, to assess performance in a tool I'll describe in a few moments called Portfolio Manager. Portfolio Manager is a free, online, and password-protected management tool. The privacy policy protects access to only the account holder and anyone that you may grant access. And that is to say EPA staff don't see your data. Furthermore, there's a lot of it, and it would be boring for 300,000 buildings. What it allows you to do as the account holder is assess your whole building with regard to energy and water consumption, if you wish, and also to track waste and recycling. These are optional. You can track changes in your energy and water use, the greenhouse gas emissions and cost over time. You can track green power purchases. There are features within the tool that allow you to share data and report data with others in your business organization or with them you have some relationship, perhaps a contractor. In addition to embedded standard reports, there are custom reports available. Among the metrics are looking at the source energy used, the site energy, An important feature is weather normalization. That is, when you've entered your utility billing data for your last 12 months, it will be compared automatically within Portfolio Manager to 30 years of weather data for your zip code. Then Portfolio Manager factors out the extreme weather that could be driving your overall cost, most likely with higher heating and cooling cost, but it does confuse the price signal when you've put in new commercial food service equipment or lighting and you're expecting to see the savings. If the extreme weather is not factored out, you may be confused as to savings. The water use can be tracked, your waste materials if you wish, and then your facility, there are 20 types for which you can receive an Energy Star score rating your specific facility against the national average for, say, restaurants or convenience stores or hotels, whatever your business is. 50's average, so it's easy to understand where you stand immediately compared to your peer facilities. And then month by month, as you make improvements, you'll see your score increasing. At the same time, you're tracking energy use, your greenhouse gas emissions for which your facility is responsible will be calculated on an ongoing basis. As your efficiency improves, the greenhouse gas emissions will go down. If you're part of a group, you can aggregate your greenhouse gas emissions. You may be a franchisee with multiple facilities, or for some reason affiliate with a number of other buildings. So if you wish to aggregate your savings and your greenhouse gas emissions prevention, you can do that. Portfolio Manager is pretty user-friendly, but we have a very vigorous training and technical support capacity. The URL address you see here, building/training, is open 24/7 for everyone. You don't have to be an Energy Star partner to come take advantage of weekly live webinars. You do have to register for live webinars, but they're all recorded. So knowing you're busy with your work, you can go anytime 24/7 and see all the recorded webinars going back several months. We have 3 to 7 minute training videos on YouTube that explain how to use Portfolio Manager and other aspects of energy efficiency. We have some very good how-to training guides. They're PDFs you can download. They range from 2 to 7 pages, and they typically are just listing steps 1, 2, 3. This is how you insert your utility billing data, or this is how you share data with a colleague or generate a report. We have frequently asked questions that are really frequently asked questions. We don't make them up. We keep an updated list from our partners and the viewers of our webinars and are constantly updating our list. We also have a link to our help desk, which is highly rated with 90% favorable ratings from users on answering your questions. So there's a link there as well. Nearly 30 major American cities are now passing ordinances and mandating the use of the Portfolio Manager tool for larger facilities. The ordinances usually include first-year facilities of 100,000 square feet or more, then going down to 50,000 the second year. But there are cities that make their own decisions, like Austin, Texas, where all facilities of 10,000 square feet or more are required by local ordinance to benchmark in Portfolio Manager. Likewise, City of San Francisco, all commercial buildings are required to benchmark. New York City recently went down to 25,000 square feet. So there's, some in your industry who will be subject to these rules. Energy Star, as a voluntary program, doesn't promote this. When it happened, we were a little surprised, but we felt we had to step in with this very vigorous training and technical support. So it's all there. This is a screenshot of the page at the URL address at the bottom, building/policies and programs. And we've circled in red a little link that will take you to a PDF that shows you all cities and counties that have some type of legislation, and in many cases, a voluntary program to promote benchmarking. We have a sister program at EPA, WaterSense. Like Energy Star, they label products that use water. There are more than 20,000 models online that you can search. It's epa.gov/WaterSense. WaterSense also has a suite of tools for commercial buildings. They show the typical water use by your facility type to give you an idea of best management practices, tips, tools for assessments, worksheets and checklists, training webinars, and case studies. Again, one of the things we've learned from our thousands of partners is that engaging your workers or your employees can be very profitable, really. Getting them on board for energy and water savings can really help quite a lot. We have a set of tools called Bring Your Green to Work that are all downloadable. There's our checklists, posters, and tip cards, a video, facts, and animated workplace tools that you can come find. That's at EnergyStar.gov/work. We've been so impressed with the competitions that we ran for 5 or 6 years for our partners, and learning from our partners what they did with friendly competitions in their own organizations, that we developed a 20-page guide that has some of the best information pulled together on running friendly competitions in your organization. There are ideas and strategies, and it's something in which people learn to have some fun in the process, but save some real dollars. So it's a free download at EnergyStar.gov/guide. In support of these campaigns and competitions, we have some toolkits. We have customizable posters in which you can drop your logo and program information. We have social media graphics and banners and tools you can use featuring lighting or ventilation and heating and energy waste and water waste. So these are more tools you can download. Our newest campaign is the Treasure Hunt. This is an idea that actually was born at Toyota and taken up by Staples Corporate. Our industrial team at Energy Star learned the idea, and we have recently adapted Treasure Hunt for commercial buildings. So what's it about? Well, the idea was at Toyota, someone figured that once the technical experts, the contractors, the staff had done all they could do for energy savings, Toyota had the idea of letting the non-technical people take a crack at it. So they enlisted the workers in the warehouse, sales, accounting, all over the company to get a checklist, a clipboard, walk around with fresh eyes and see if they could find more savings. So Toyota was surprised. We have always been surprised that typically an additional 10 or 15% savings are achieved once the non-technical people get involved. So you'll see we have a lot of tools for commercial buildings, so come find out more.
Thank you, Jerry. Let's dive into the specification and certification process for commercial kitchen equipment. Commercial kitchen equipment offers a huge opportunity to save money and energy because commercial kitchens are so energy intensive. To get a sense of how energy intensive they are, we have a couple statistics here. Commercial kitchens use 2 to 3 times more energy per square foot than other commercial buildings, and a typical electric deep fat fryer can consume more than 18,000 kilowatt hours annually, while the average U.S. household electricity use is approximately 12,000 kilowatt hours annually. In order to know how we get Energy Star certified commercial kitchen equipment to the end user, we need to break down a couple of things. First, the Energy Star certified commercial food service equipment categories and the specification development process. There are 9 active commercial food service, or CFS, product categories eligible to receive ENERGY STAR certification. These include commercial dishwashers, fryers, griddles, hot food holding cabinets, ice makers, ovens, refrigerators and freezers, steam cookers, and coffee brewers. Details on each of these product categories can be found at energystar.gov/CFS. I want to note here that if you would like to receive the ENERGY STAR CFS newsletters that contain information on these categories, as well as program updates, please email commercialfoodservice@energystar.gov to request to be added to the distribution list. The ways that the ENERGY STAR program communicates the highest energy conservation standards to consumers, stakeholders, and partners is through the product specification, which is based on a systematic and rigorous process that prioritizes transparency, inclusiveness, and consistency. The ENERGY STAR specification development process and final product specifications are at the core of ENERGY STAR product labeling. The process is largely dependent on industry data and input from stakeholders and partners, especially at the start of the process, or number 1 in this diagram, called market and engineering analysis, and data assembly, number 4. So the red arrows highlight areas of interest and points where stakeholder and partner input is sought. The ENERGY STAR program conducts an initial scoping assessment of the market and engineering, drafts initial savings and consumer payback estimates, identifies or develops valid test procedures to measure energy performance, and assembles energy performance data based on those test methods before launching into multiple drafts of this product specification, or steps number 5 through 9 in this diagram. Once the product specification is effective, typically 9 months after the final spec is released, brand owner partners can begin certifying new products. ENERGY STAR program continuously monitors all product categories for market changes, such as ENERGY STAR market penetration or test method revisions, which could trigger another round of specification development. To ensure consumer confidence and protect the investment of ENERGY STAR partners, EPA requires all products be third-party certified. Once a partnership application is submitted, a product brand owner must submit product data to an EPA-recognized certification body, or CB, which is an accredited independent lab. Once the CB has reviewed and certified the product brand owner will be notified to then proceed with labeling the product. And the newly certified models offered for sale in the U.S. will be posted on the ENERGY STAR Product Finder, which is an online database that I will talk about momentarily. After certification, ENERGY STAR partners must comply with the ENERGY STAR brand guidelines, participate in third-party verification through an EPA-recognized CB, meaning that manufacturers may be selected for verification testing, which occurs annually, and provide annual unit shipment data no later than March 1st of the following year for all products certified as ENERGY STAR to assist EPA in measuring the impact of ENERGY STAR in the marketplace and track market penetration of the products in the U.S. The information presented here is from the National Restaurant Association's 2018 State of Restaurant Sustainability Report. As you can see from these statistics, ENERGY STAR certified equipment is showing up in more and more restaurants across the U.S. Nearly half of all restaurants surveyed use ENERGY STAR commercial refrigerators, 41% use ENERGY STAR certified commercial freezers and ice makers, and 25% use ENERGY STAR certified commercial dishwashers. Recall that deep fat fryers can consume more energy than average U.S. household on an annual basis, and 22% of all restaurants surveyed use ENERGY STAR certified models. The breakdown of these numbers is shown in the table below by segment, stable service and limited service, and by ownership, independent and chain franchisee. The table shows that independently owned restaurants are slightly more likely than chain and franchisee operations to use ENERGY STAR certified kitchen equipment. But this may not mean that the larger restaurant brands are not using energy-efficient equipment. It's possible that some larger restaurant brands use highly efficient cooking equipment that is customized for their operations. Designing a commercial kitchen with ENERGY STAR certified CFS equipment could save an operator 340 million BTUs per year, or more than $5,300 a year on energy bills. But you may ask, why would I buy energy-efficient equipment if the price tag is higher than on less efficient equipment? For one, the gap in pricing is narrowing in some categories, such as less expensive fryers. Second, the energy-efficient equipment has a relatively quick payback period. And third, rebates can further narrow the difference and nearly eliminate the price gap completely in some cases. Remember, Energy Star certified equipment is more energy efficient and reduces energy costs without compromising quality. Also, higher efficiency means more energy getting into the food and less energy wasted. This is a great infographic where you can see the energy and lifetime dollar savings for different products, as well as the benefits that impact the kitchen and food production. Some examples of feature technology include improved temperature controls on fryers and griddles, high-efficiency compressors and refrigeration equipment, insulation in hot food holding cabinets, and heat recovery in dishwashers. Furthermore, this graphic also shows a range of rebate offers for each equipment category. But for a breakdown of the utility incentives offered across the country, this table shows the minimum, maximum, and average for each commercial food service product category. Rebate offers range from $25 to $7,000, depending on equipment type and location. The average rebate range across commercial kitchen equipment types is between $189 to $1,053. Note that even if your utility does not offer a rebate on efficient kitchen equipment, and if you're doing a major renovation or retrofit, you should still contact your utility. They have custom incentives they could apply to your project. We will now turn to resources on the Energy Star website that are really useful for the end user. The Product Finder is a publicly available searchable database of Energy Star certified products that is frequently updated. Energy Star certified models offered for sale in the U.S. are listed here, and you can find a lot of information about specific units, including machine type, energy and water consumption measurements, model numbers, and brand names. Product information can be compared across models through the web version or downloadable Excel sheets of the database. The Energy Star Rebate Finder is a great publicly available consumer shopping tool for searching rebate offerings by location. To use this tool, customers enter their zip code and the search engine generates a list of rebates, including the rebate amount, utility offering the rebate, utility contact information, utility website, and expiration of the rebate offer. The rebates can then be filtered by equipment type. The rebate information is updated frequently, approximately every 2 weeks, with a big data push towards the beginning of the year. The Energy Star Dealer and Distributor Locator is a publicly available search tool that identifies dealers and distributors that sell Energy Star commercial kitchen equipment. This online tool directs customers seeking Energy Star commercial food service equipment to a retail partner's storefront or website. To use this tool, customers enter their zip code, and the search engine generates a map and list of the nearest dealers and distributors, including their contact information, address, and website. We recommend CFS retail partners take advantage of this resource to promote their partnership with Energy Star and to encourage sales of Energy Star certified products. The Energy Star Guide for Cafes, Restaurants, and Commercial Kitchens is a downloadable and co-brandable best practices guide. In 2015, EPA developed the guide in partnership with PG&E's Food Service Technology Center and the National Restaurant Association's Conserve program. The guide was developed with assistance from California's 4 IOUs, Southern California Gas Company, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, San Diego Gas and Electric Company, and Southern California Edison. The guide includes cost savings per product type, incentive ranges across the U.S., benchmarking resources, water conservation tips, and much more. On the right is the link to a comprehensive list of marketing materials for Energy Star commercial food service products, including the co-brandable cafe, restaurant, and commercial kitchen guide that I just described, co-brandable sell sheets for each equipment type, case studies on organizations that successfully incorporated Energy Star certified equipment in their facilities and the savings they achieved, and many more resources. For even more information, and in no particular order, also consider this non-comprehensive list of resources on the left in this slide, and shout out to many programs and organizations whose work we track and with whom we work. Thank you to our partners for your continued support of the Energy Star program, and thank you Partstown for this opportunity to present to the commercial food service industry.
Thank you, Tanya and Jerry. That presentation was incredibly enlightening and informative. We are now going to get into the Q&A portion of today's webinar. Our first question up is, what are some factors that go into the rebate program? Does it differ by state?
This is Jerry. I worked with electric utilities for about 8 years, so I'll take a shot at this. Rebates are, first of all, designed to benefit the utility by reducing electric demand overall or to shift the time of day of peak electricity demand by influencing utility customer equipment purchases and their energy use behavior. As Tanya said, sometimes the most efficient equipment costs slightly more upfront, although the lifetime savings are many times the initial savings of buying cheaper equipment. So a utility will offer temporary financial incentives until the price of the newer, better technology is ultimately driven down by mass production and purchasing. Then the utility moves on to some new technology for rebates to continue driving efficiency. So for equipment manufacturers, the Energy Star label itself is a valuable incentive. So some of the considerations behind this, though, are that a utility with a growing population and economy may reduce its electricity demand per customer rather than build a new power plant, which is always going to be more expensive than the equivalent kilowatt hours saved by a good efficiency rebate. And the new power plant entails debt, financial risk, as well as more pollution. So when I was with utilities in Texas, we experienced a booming economy, and then during that period, we actually negated the need for a 500 megawatt coal plant with programs of rebates and technical support for customers of the utility. We did the same with water. And a few years later, when the economy went down seriously, it was actually the president of the Chamber of Commerce who credited the city having substituted efficiency for customers for both a new power plant and a water treatment plant for keeping the city solvent instead of having us saddled with debt for a stranded investment in power plant, water treatment plants that were not completely needed. Yes, by state, the rebates will vary. They will vary by utility. The existence or level of rebates is a function of how badly the utility needs the capacity. So it also will vary by what rebates they may have previously offered. It will vary by what new products are available. And it could well be driven, partially at least, by a stronger statewide political consensus for efficiency and renewable energy related to concerns for the environment and human health.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jerry. We have another attendee who asks, how does Energy Star select products for the program?
Well, this question refers back to the product specification process, which is a systematic and rigorous process that prioritizes transparency, inclusiveness, and consistency, requiring stakeholder and partner data and input. Also, a market and engineering analysis, savings potential and consumer payback estimates, and a vetted test method. In addition, during the Energy Star product specification development and revision process, EPA employs a set of key 6 guiding principles to ensure Energy Star identifies products where large gains in energy efficiency and pollution reduction can be cost-effectively realized and can play an influential role to expand the market for these products. So the ultimate viability and environmental impact of an Energy Star specification in the marketplace depends upon many factors. The 6 guiding principles are used as guidance during an iterative process to achieve the desired balance among the principles, using the best available market information and selecting efficiency levels reflective of the top 25% of models available in the market when the specification goes into effect. So when a new product is considered for specification development, the 6 guiding principles are considered, and they are as follows. 1, significant energy savings can be realized on a national basis. 2, product performance can be maintained or enhanced with increased energy efficiency. 3, purchasers will recover their investment in increased energy efficiency within a reasonable period of time. 4, energy efficiency can be achieved through 1 or more technologies such that qualifying products are broadly available and offered by more than one manufacturer. 5, product energy consumption and performance can be measured and verified with testing. And 6, labeling would effectively differentiate the product and be visible to purchasers.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Another attendee has asked, your graphic on the circular specification process indicating continuous improvement is helpful, but can you comment on the average length of time duration from initial award of Energy Star specifications confirmation to the next spec evaluation time?
Well, that typically depends on the specification, the product that we're considering for revision, or a product that we're considering to add to our list of potential products. So if the technology is rather complicated, or if there are a lot of comments and input or data that we need to process, it typically takes very much longer than a product that's maybe a little bit of a simpler technology. But typically, I would say around a year or 2 years to get from one point to another, from the start to finish. But it really does depend on how much data we have and the level of involvement from stakeholders and resources that we have in hand.
Wonderful, thank you. We have another question, and this is something that I believe Jerry explained a little bit, but maybe we can go into further detail. The question asks, is it accurate that some states are enacting mandates that only Energy Star food service equipment may be purchased and installed in commercial restaurants? If yes, which states?
I have to say, neither Tanya nor I are aware of such a statewide ordinance. We would be happy to follow up on that, and particularly if the audience member, knows of a state. We will, and we'll work back through Partstown to get that answer.
If you have a specific question on energy efficiency standards, minimum efficiency standards set by a state, you can reach out to us to talk about it, but you may want to also track the state efforts, if that's what you're asking.
So you see on the screen, I believe, our email addresses. So we'll both be happy to work with you on this.
Awesome, thank you. So we would like to say thank you all once again for attending our energy efficiency webinar hosted by Partstown. We would also like to extend a big thank you to Tanya Sirk and Jerry Lawson for presenting to us today. It was a wonderful presentation. After we close out this session, you will receive a survey that we ask that you fill out at your discretion. This survey lets us know what you would like to learn about in future Partstown webinars. The survey also helps us learn more about ways we can improve our webinar experience and determine what best fits the needs of our participants. So your feedback is vital for continued success. Additionally, this webinar will be available on partstown.com, where you can find additional resources and information about the Energy Star program, how to utilize the program for your business, and much more. Again, a huge thank you to both Jerry Lawson and Tanya Sirk for giving us their time and their insight in today's webinar, and I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon.